Imagine sitting in a funeral and feeling nothing. The world keeps its shape: sunlight, air, coffee, but your heart remains quiet. Imagine being punished not for a crime you committed, but for the way you looked at the sun. This is The Stranger. If you think this is just a strange old book, you haven't met its philosophy yet. Stick around. I promise this will change the way you think about honesty, society, and why meaning might be the most overrated word in philosophy. Today we go deep. Plot, characters, Camus' idea of the absurd, how Meursault functions as a philosophical experiment, and most importantly, what this all means for you, now, in your scrolling, zooming life. The Stranger opens with one of the most talked about first lines in modern literature. Mother died today. Meursault does not cry. Instead, he notices the heat, the cigarette lights, the hospital corridor's smell. Later, he kills a man on a beach, an impulsive act under the dazzling sun. At his trial, the prosecution spends more time on his behavior at his mother's funeral, whether he cried, whether he showed grief, than on the murder itself. Meursault is convicted. The book ends with him facing death and experiencing a calm, almost joyous acceptance of the indifferent universe. That summary underplays something crucial. The novel isn't about crime or guilt in the ordinary sense. It's about honesty under pressure. Absurdity, in Camus' terms, is not comedy or nonsense. It's a structural clash. Humans seek meaning. The universe refuses to give it. Imagine you shout "why" into a canyon and get silence. That silence is the absurd. But Camus doesn't end there with despair. He treats the absurd as a condition to be recognized and, crucially, responded to. Camus describes three responses to the absurd: suicide, a leap of faith, or revolt. Suicide denies the question by erasing the asker. The leap of faith invents answers, often religious, that Camus sees as intellectual cheating. The third option, revolt, is to accept the gap, live honestly inside it, and create meaning through action. That revolt is liberating because it puts responsibility squarely on us. The Stranger is not meant to be liked, nor is he meant to be condemned simply. He's Camus' human experiment. What if a person stopped pretending emotional scripts? Meursault feels. He notices the warm sea, the heat, the tactile quality of life. But he refuses to fake grief or fake social performances. Think about social rituals you do without wanting to. Have you ever smiled because everyone smiles? Meursault refuses that automatic script. He sees and is seen. The problem is, society runs on scripts. When someone doesn't follow them, institutions reassert themselves through condemnation. At the trial, the prosecution weaponizes normalcy. Not "he killed someone," but "he didn't cry." That is the real indictment. Failure to conform. So, honesty can be criminalized when society depends on performance. Camus is asking, is social harmony worth the price of disappearing your own responsiveness to the world? Or, put another way, do we owe society the performance of feeling? Some readers call Camus cold or Meursault psychopathic. That's a misunderstanding. Meursault's honesty doesn't imply lack of empathy. It implies refusal to invent emotions to match expectation. Camus' ethics is austere. Moral worth is in authenticity, and in the choices you make in a world without cosmic guidance. Think about your last genuine apology. Was it made because you felt regret inside, or because you were expected to apologize? Camus would insist we choose internally generated acts, not performance acts. That's ethically demanding. Being honest, even when dishonesty is socially profitable. Camus gets lumped with existentialists like Sartre, but important differences exist. Sartre emphasizes radical freedom. Your choices create you. Camus emphasizes the tension of seeking meaning when none is given. Sartre's ethics is project-oriented. Camus' is revolt-oriented. Both demand responsibility, but Camus adds an ontological condition. The universe might be mute. Which feels closer to your experience? That you must create your essence, or that you must rebel amid silence? Both are powerful, and they complement each other. Let's unpack the trial. The prosecution's focus on Meursault's emotional life shows how society interprets nonconformity as threat. The courtroom functions as a symbolic theater, not of law alone, but of collective meaning-making. Camus uses this to show how institutions manufacture moral language to maintain coherence. And Meursault? He doesn't perform remorse. He's pragmatic, literal. The court needs theatrics to justify punishment, and Meursault refuses to supply them.
Camus forces the reader to ask, when justice focuses on moral feeling rather than facts, what kind of justice is that? The novel becomes a critique of performative morality. The final section is key. Facing execution, Meursault finally experiences a kind of peaceful revolt. He rejects religious consolation offered by the prison chaplain. Instead of pleading for divine meaning, he confronts the universe's silence and chooses to live fully in the moment, to feel the sun, the smell of the world. This is not resignation, but acceptance, an active stance. Here Camus gives us a model: acceptance of absurdity plus passionate engagement with life. That is the ethical heart of his thought. People often say, "Isn't Camus just a nihilist?" But that misses the point. Camus actually rejects nihilism. He doesn't say life is meaningless, so we should give up. He says, life may not hand us meaning, but that's exactly why we get to revolt, to create, to make our own. Another one. Meursault is a sociopath. Look, he doesn't even cry at his mother's funeral. But that's a shallow reading. Meursault isn't empty inside. He's not cold. He feels the sun burning his skin, the sea salt on his lips, the pleasure of a cigarette. He's alive to sensation. What he resists is performative sorrow, pretending to feel what society demands. And here's a third pushback. Doesn't this philosophy excuse cruelty? Absolutely not. Camus' ethics are rooted in responsibility and solidarity. To accept the absurd is not to be careless or cruel. It's to realize that if the universe doesn't hand us a script, then every choice we make matters even more. If you remember one line from this video, let it be this: the absurd doesn't erase responsibility, it relocates it. Meaning isn't given from above, it's forged in our actions. Meursault's calm at the end isn't despair, it's choice. And that choice opens the door to living with eyes wide open. If this video gave you something to think about, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend who might also be wrestling with these questions. Because here on Alteria, we explore philosophy not as something stuck in books, but as something alive, in how we live, how we choose, and how we open our eyes to the world.